Hello, Nick Krauser of KrauserPUA.com. I'm just sitting in a cafe with Steve and we've just been chatting and a conversational thread just came up which I thought, right, hang on, I want to make a video about that. So this is a off-the-cuff video based on a discussion I was having literally 5 minutes ago with Steve. I've just plugged my mic in, pressed go, and I want to summarise kind of what we're saying. First of all, I'd like to show you this clip from The Naked Gun with O.J. Simpson.
Polizia! Siete in arresto, gettate le armi!
Fatelo a pezzi.
Right, so that's quite a famous clip, and I gotta be honest, like, I was pissing myself laughing just rewatching that on YouTube. Now, what happens in this clip with O.J. Simpson? He goes into this boat where the bad guys are having a meeting, and he tries to arrest them, and it goes wrong immediately. He tries to kick open the door, and his foot goes through the door. So from that, he stumbles in, and now everyone pulls a gun on him. So his error is now compounded. Like, I can't remember the precise series of events when he's putting his hands on hot stoves, wet paint, and like basically everything is going wrong. So what happens over the course of whatever 30 seconds a minute is a calamity of cascading errors, and then he ends up like falling overboard dead. Right. Now that, to me, is what most pickup stories sound like when you hear them on the internet. There's a lot of famous companies who have videos where they talk about long, intricate, involved pickups which involved almost crashing their car, which involved making this like saving last-ditch tackle on the penalty box type thing. Now, to use the sport metaphor, something I heard, a couple of comments I heard over the years which I thought were really interesting, is in boxing somebody saying the best referee is one you don't notice, and someone else, I think it's Alan Hansen, telling me that in football the best defence is one you never hear about. So a good defender is not the guy who sticks his boot in to clear the ball off the line at the last ditch. The good defender is one whose organisation skill is so good and he works so well in his team as a unit that the forwards never get the ball in a position to even take the shot, much less have a goal-mouth clearance. That is real good defence. So pickup in certain ways is like that. A good pickup, if you watch, for example, a video of me on an infield on the street, or you watch, say, Steve or Tom, or say John Matrix's particularly minimalist version of this, if you watch a good pickup on the street, it looks boring. Like, now, if you catch a bit of like the audio, it might be interesting conversation in certain ways. But there's no running around waving your hands. There's none of that O.J. Simpson stuff of like walking into lampposts and tripping up curbs and stuff. It doesn't look that interesting. What you've got is just a guy creating an impression on a girl who likes him, and then he's just moving it along through a certain series of predictable stages. Now, for example, last year, I put my stats up. I put my 2013 stats up where I fucked 27 new girls. And one thing I put up on there, I think I'll put a link into the post, is how many were same day lays, how many were first dates, how many were second dates, and how many went longer. Now what you'll see if you look at those stats is almost every girl I fucked quickly, like within 2 dates. And you'll also notice if you go to the lay reports, because I put lay reports up of every one of them, they were pretty simple. Now I dressed up the story to make it interesting, but you'll notice what I'm dressing up the story, it's not last minute saves and trouble at the death, it's just interesting stuff that was happening. It wasn't like crazy antics, right? It wasn't O.J. Simpson bumbling around the cabin. So I think you should bear that in mind when you watch YouTube videos of street pickups, right? So you'll see numpties riding around on bikes dressed like they're homeless, trying to pick up girls, right? You'll see like those simple pickup guys, like fuck knows what they do, they're just clowns, right? Or you'll see people like, I think he's called Vitaly, the guy who like does like pranks to pick up girls, like on the beach and in his Lamborghini and that. Now, you've got to be clear what's going on there. Those are YouTube videos designed to get YouTube subscribers, like ultimately, presumably to build a subscriber base from which to sell to, but some of them, they just want to be YouTube stars. Now, it's an entirely different behavior to use women as a foil to get a video that's going to entertain pigeon-brained YouTube subscribers compared to a video which is designed to show how you fuck a woman. They are two different things, right? So it's kind of sad in its own way, but like the best pickup videos are boring. So here's a little insider tip for when you're watching YouTube videos, or you know, you're just hearing these stories on the forums and lay reports at presentations and so on. Good pickup is 95% of the time really simple, very predictable, and the amount of static or resistance or bullshit that the girl will give on the path to her being fucked will be quite predictable. It'll be of a very certain limited number of types. For example, in our new book Primal Seduction, Steve and I have a chapter, The Things Women Do, where we say there are very, very predictable kinds of tests or responses women will give you as they go towards the path of being fucked. And they're not curveballs, they don't blindside you, right? There's a very limited number of them, and if you learn those, then 95% of the time you know exactly what's going to be coming, right? She's essentially selecting from that small menu of shit to give you. All these really complex stories, they are the outliers, right? Now, in a way, you could say these guys are showing some creativity and extended skills by able to move these girls along and fuck them anyway. But I think, to go back to this O.J. Simpson video, what they really are is one of either two things. Either number one, the girl didn't really want to fuck him, and he's somehow just managing to get her into the bed to fuck her before she runs off again and has nothing more to do with him. Or more likely, just something went wrong very early on, and the rest of the pickup is essentially just fighting fires, to finally get it in bed, whereas if he'd just done it the right way from the beginning, it would have been really simple.